Hello from the National Air and Space Museum here in Washington, DC. And I thought this is probably the coolest place I could bring you frequent flyer and aviation geeks to here in Washington. And I'm very curious to see what they have. I already spotted a few very cool and vintage airplanes. So yeah, the plan is just to take you guys around and let's see what airplanes you recognize, and maybe one among them is one you associate some really cool memories with, which for example I do, especially all those World War II airplanes, because this is how I actually got into aviation, because I was collecting those little models back then, and I hope I'm gonna see one of them here. So let's go and explore. So the museum literally covers it all. You have a 747 cockpit, you have everything related to modern aviation, as well as fighter jets from the Second World War, all the weaponry, everything related to the Americans trying to conquer the space, the Apollo program. It is really amazing how much stuff there is on display. And also at the moment you have a very special guest at the museum. It is a copy of the Wright brothers' very first successful airplane, the very first successful airplane in the world, which took off in 1903 and flew an astonishing 37 meters. So it's day 2 in Washington, and today I'll be flying back to LA. But before I go to the airport, I continue my tour of the Air and Space Museum here in Washington. But this time I'm at the other complex, which is near the International Airport of Washington, and this is where all the cool stuff is. So if you want to see the last remaining space shuttle, the Discovery is here. Then you have the Granola Guy, which dropped the nuclear bomb on Hiroshima, and all the fighter jets from the Second World War, as well as from the Cold War times, all that kind of stuff. So it's very interesting if you're really into aviation. I also spotted a Boeing 707, and the Concorde is here as well. So it's very interesting. Like, even if you're not into aviation, it's like super it's a super interesting place to visit, and as well there is no entry fee. So let's go inside and let's see what cool airplanes we can see. Let's go. So that was my little tour of the National Air and Space Museum here in Washington DC. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comment section below which airplane you liked the most or which part of the museum. It's free admission, so you can get in there without paying any fee, which is pretty cool. So if you come to DC, make sure you check it out. I think it's open from like 10 a.m. to like 5:30 every day, maybe, but double check. But it's definitely worth visiting. The Capitol, or whatever. My knowledge on cities is not as good as my knowledge on airplanes. So I think this is the home of the Senate of America, United States of America. And then, yeah, I don't even know what that is. I would need to Google that up.